This is the Marvel game that people weren't expecting. Like, as far as I can tell, no one, apart from the leaker from like a couple years ago, I'm not even sure when, people really didn't see this coming. But it's a Marvel fighting game that's not Marvel versus Capcom. Let's check out this trailer. I've seen it before, but just let's watch it through. So it's a short trailer for Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls. All right, PlayStation Studios in association with a finger. Arc System Works. There's so much to unpack here. Translated subtitles, all your favorite American English characters all speaking in Japanese. Marvel games. So all the hints and then finally the confirmation. It's a Marvel game. It's a Marvel fighting game. Actual insanity. Featuring more of the more recent characters that they're trying to push in some of their TV shows, obviously. But the classics, we've got the ones that you're all going to know and love. The Spider-Mans, the Iron Mans, and the Captain Americas. Who's actually inside the costumes? Not 100% sure if they're going with these storylines, if it's, all with the Marvel Universe. How many of these characters are, like, dead and not supposed to be even in the game anymore? I think that's a really important thing for an official Marvel game. It's like, well, some of these characters, they got killed off, and some of them are not being pushed anymore in the new series. Ghost Rider? I'm sorry, I'm not a Marvel person, so I don't even know his name. Doctor Doom, obviously this is going to be an important character in the future Avengers movie, where I believe that certain people are making a comeback. Storm, who I don't think we've seen for a long time, because X-Men for the longest time wasn't really being pushed that heavily. Was the story X-Men was like owned by Fox, so Marvel wasn't technically making the X-Men movies, but there's so much to unpack. If you're a Marvel fan or if you're a fighting game fan, there's so much to unpack that it's easy to get confused. Well, easy for me to get confused. I believe that is the big armor that they used just to like take down Hulk, right? Talking of which, where's Hulk? Where's Hulk? Interesting that everyone looks so cool. Like, I associate with like modern day Marvel with everyone being a little bit derpy. They're all a bit like, they're all kind of misfits. As I understand it, the reason that this is so exciting is that people have been waiting for a new Marvel versus Capcom game. And the reason they thought it might actually happen is that we got the Capcom Fighting Collection, which is based just on Marvel versus Capcom type games and a few other things, right? So we got Marvel vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and X-Men vs. Street Fighter, loads of titles that were important in this whole versus series. But the important thing about that series was that it was Capcom making the game. So it was always Capcom Presents, and then there would be Street Fighter characters like X-Men versus Street Fighter characters, or then later on, just anyone from Capcom versus anyone from Marvel, which is how we ended up with Marvel versus Capcom Infinite, which I understand and I've played the game and I enjoy it, but not enough to like continue playing it. But people who are genuine fans of the Marvel vs. Capcom series, there was a lot that was like kind of missing from Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. It was just a very weird time for Marvel. It was a weird time for Capcom. And for whatever reason, it seemed like that particular game kind of like soured the relationship between Disney, which owns Marvel, and Capcom. So it was always questionable, like, would an actual sequel to Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or a sequel to Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite ever come out? And I think people are waiting for a Marvel vs. Capcom 4, like game number 4. So even though technically Infinite would be 4, like ignoring a Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, it would just be a sequel to MVC 3. So when this trailer comes out, and the names you see are PlayStation Studios and Arc System Works, it's like, okay, we see the hints at the beginning that, it's got Marvel characters, but it's like, but maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not a 2D fighting game. But then you get that confirmation that, it is Marvel. Those hands you saw, those were the hands of Marvel characters. And this screen, it opens up to this screen, and it is, well, I love how Gotta love how Arc System Works does this. When they switch from 2D art to, oh my god, they're moving around and they're actually 3D, that's insane. They did that with the original Guilty Gear XR trailer. When they like moved into XR sign, I believe, that this trailer which went from like, no way, it's a 2D game, and then the camera turns and it's like, actually, it's 3D, what? The reason I think this is exciting is because even though Capcom characters are obviously not going to be in this, it is a Marvel fighting game. And it will have a lot of the energy of Marvel versus Capcom because it's team versus. As I understand it, you control a main character and maybe you have 3 other characters that you can tag team in, or you can bring them in as assist characters. I'm sure that someone has gone into the detail and looked up, well, all the mechanics and stuff. But the important thing is that, there will be ways to involve all 4 of your characters in your battle, which is still basically a 1v1 fighting game. So a tag fighter. And this is, it's the year of the tag fighter, because hopefully 2XKO, the Riot League of Legends fighting game, will eventually come out. We'll now have this tag fighter, and there's also the Hunter x Hunter tag fighter. So you can imagine being a Marvel versus Capcom fan and being absolutely blown away by this, but at the same time, it feels a little bittersweet. It's like, sweet, we got a Marvel versus Capcom. Oh wait, Capcom's not in it. And obviously that's frustrating for people who loved it because it was Marvel and Capcom, but for people who just genuinely loved having a fighting game where you could play with Marvel characters, because we can play with Capcom characters in other games, well, mostly Street Fighter characters, but you know what I mean. There is still most of the excitement here. Plus, this isn't just like Marvel talked to a company to make a fighting game, like a company that doesn't know how to make fighting games. This is Arc System Works. This is the company that brought you Guilty Gear, Guilty Gear XR, Guilty Gear XX, Blaze Blue, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, Dragon Ball Fight, everything that you know, which is like involving characters that were 2D art, but in a fighting game that has, 3D, it's all generated in 3D, and so you have all of the special flashy effects and all the supers like that change the angle and everything. It's a beautiful thing, and a lot of people, in some ways, they don't want Arc System Works to do their style on every fighting game, but at the same time, it's like Arc System is kind of the only company that is really excelling at this. Now, there is another fighting game that was announced recently. I think it's called Invincible. I'm not super familiar with the comic that it's based on, but there is another fighting game coming out with a CG kind of style, and it looks pretty good. So other companies are starting to catch up. And this isn't 100% the Guilty Gear 2D, 3D art style, but it is pretty darn close. And obviously, I think they really showcased it right here at the start when they switch in from this image. It looks drawn. It looks two-dimensional, like someone drew it by hand, and then they saturate the color in, and it actually is in 3D. It's just mind-blowing stuff. So it's exciting times if you're a fighting game fan and you wanted something like Marvel vs. Capcom, but it is bittersweet because Capcom's not in it. But at the same time, it's exciting because in a way, we just get to see the Marvel characters just flourish on their own. They're not in a fight. The fighting game is not legitimized by the fact that Street Fighter characters are also in it, or Capcom characters are also in it. It's just no, Marvel characters can fight on their own. There's plenty of Marvel characters. It's not like there's any shortage of that. And even without being a versus title with some other franchise in it, it can still be a legitimate fighting game, evidently. So I'm excited about the mechanics. I want to see where this whole 4v4 thing is going. I want to see more about these graphics. It already looks incredibly beautiful, but I think we're mostly looking at this sort of, I assume this is New York stage, and I really want to know what's going on with the characters. Maybe the information's already been released, but I don't understand exactly what's going on with Doctor Doom, and a lot of these characters are wearing masks. Did they say whether that's Iron Man or is this Iron Heart, which is the female character who has a similar armor? And I think there's a Marvel series or a Marvel show based on it. Captain America here, but who's inside? In the Marvel movies, they pass that shield on and then someone else becomes the captain. It's kind of confusing to me. The Marvel Universe, after Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame, I watched a little bit. I really enjoyed Loki. So I don't dislike all of the new Marvel stuff, but I'm not 100% sure what's going on with the lore behind all of the current characters that are going to be included in this. And the last thing I'm interested to know is what's going on with Marvel versus Capcom. Part of the leaked information that actually mentioned this, and I think nobody believed it because it just didn't sound like it would ever happen. Part of that leak was also saying that a Marvel versus Capcom 4 is also happening. And if the other two bits of that leak were true, then maybe the Marvel versus Capcom 4 part is also true, which is really exciting because it does seem that Capcom and Disney have repaired their relationship. Whatever happened with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, maybe all of that has been ironed out because we got Capcom Fighting Collection, the one with all the Marvel vs. Capcom games in it. So presumably they released that as a precursor to an actual Marvel vs. Capcom 4 game eventually coming out. Sorry, it's Mosquito Season in Japan. In a way, seeing this trailer doesn't at all make me think that a Marvel vs. Capcom 4 is not coming out. But I'm kind of basing that a lot on this one screenshot I saw on Twitter. I'm really excited because I loved Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. I really enjoyed Strive. Thing is, I just ended up playing a lot of Street Fighter, so I didn't end up continuing to play a lot of Strive or even Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. But I've always loved those games visually, and if I had more time, I would play all of these fighting games, and I would dedicate loads of time to them. It's a time constraint thing, which is another reason why I hadn't had time to make a direct sort of one-on-one video where we just watch a trailer together. So it feels really nice to finally get back into making a video like this. Excited to see Storm. I feel like I haven't seen Storm for a very, very long time. Is it just that the X-Men characters haven't been touched for a long time? What was the last thing we got from X-Men? Was it First Class? I'm very, very excited to see what's going on with this. Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls coming in 2026. If you have more information, feel free to let me know in the comments. There's probably a lot of stuff that I've missed. I watch the main trailers for a lot of these things these days, but I don't have a lot of time to just consume a lot of the content, so I actually haven't had a chance. I've just had no time to watch other content creators doing reaction videos to see what they're saying about this. But it was important to me to make this video so that I could connect with you guys again and just say that watching the trailer, at least, I'm very, very, very excited about this. Listen, that's all for now. I've been NihongoGamer. Hope you've enjoyed this. I'll see you real soon.